Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Tonight, we're going to be discussing Paper, which is RUSD's free online tutoring program. My name is Larissa Pineda. I'm an instructional services specialist with the Department of Innovation and Learner Engagement, and I am going to be your host this evening. Before we get started, I'd like to introduce a very special guest. Actually, I'll let her introduce herself. Go ahead, Ashley.
Hi, well, thanks for having me tonight. My name is Ashley Esparza. I am a student assistance program counselor with Riverside Unified School District.
Great. And Ashley is going to be sharing some valuable information with us regarding student wellness and share some tips for getting your students set up for success when using paper tutoring. So as I mentioned, we're going to have Ashley begin this evening. She'll be providing some information on SAP counseling services, as well as some social emotional supports to help your student be successful with tutoring. And answers. Ashley does need to leave us a bit early this evening, so if you have questions for her, use the Q&A button at the top or bottom of your screen. It is 2 word bubbles that say Q&A, and we'll be happy to answer those questions. Then I'm going to review the basics of paper, let you know how to get started. We'll discuss the essay review service that Paper offers, talk about some accessibility features, and wrap up with more questions and answers. So I'm going to go ahead and let Ashley get started.
All right, thanks again. First, let me tell you a little bit about the SAP program, just so you're aware of what we do here at the district. So we are a team of licensed marriage and family therapists or licensed clinical social workers spread out across the district. Every school site has at least one, some sites have 2 SAP counselors. We are different than school guidance counselors, where we don't really help with scheduling or discipline or things like that. We are really focused on the emotional well-being of students. We're designed to help students deal with emotional barriers such as anxiety or depression or maybe trauma, grief and loss, or things like that through individual or group counseling. We also provide resources and referrals for families to get help outside in the community if that's what they need. If you're interested in using the SAP program to help support your student, all you need to do is contact your school site, whether that's the office assistants in the front, or their teacher, or the principal, or whoever, someone at the school site requesting services. They will connect you with what you need to do in order to get those services for your student. They might have you fill out a 2-page referral that just explains what you're needing help with for your student, what kind of support. And then once that referral is submitted, the SAP counselor at your student's school will go ahead and follow up with you and see what kind of assistance they can provide. Okay, so that was a little bit about our program, but now I'm going to talk to you about social emotional learning connections and why it's important using the Paper Tutoring app. So first, let's define what is social emotional learning. It's an acronym we use a lot here at school called SEL is what we say. But basically, it's the process of developing the self-awareness, self-control, and interpersonal skills that are vital for school, work, and life success. So break that down a little bit, what all those words mean. Just the self-awareness, teaching the kids about their strengths, their emotions, their feelings. We want them to be aware of who they are. We want them to have self-control, so filtering what they should and shouldn't say, or what they should and shouldn't do, being able to think through the consequences of those things. And interpersonal skills, getting along with other people, being able to build trusting relationships. Those are all very, very important in the learning experience. So it's not just about knowing how to do the math problem and getting the right answer, but it's about I can cope with the stress that math might cause me. I can utilize my resources to get my questions answered, and I can manage my frustration in order to get it done. It's all of those components working together. Our students' ability to succeed academically, professionally, and personally is strongly correlated with their emotional and social intelligence. So we just don't want them to be book smart. We want them to also have the social awareness of themselves and of the people around them. Okay, so then how do you do that at home, right? We do that a lot at school, but how do you do that at home? And I've listed 4 different ways here of how you would be teaching social emotional learning at home using the paper tutoring resource that they're going to tell you about today. So the first one is time management. And this is a huge SEL or social emotional skill that we want to teach kids. So you're teaching them that they're going to need to set aside the time to get the help that they need. Knowing math is hard for me or social studies is hard for me, I'm going to need to set 30 minutes aside to use paper tutoring in order to get my question answered. And we want them to know how to do that, how to plan their day and get the resources that they need. The second skill that you would be teaching them with paper tutoring is self-awareness. They're going to have to realize like, hey, I need a little bit of help in this area. It's hard for me and that's okay, but I'm aware of that I need the extra support in this area. Identifying that they need help and then knowing their strengths in order to get the help that they need. The third thing that you'll be teaching them using paper tutoring is goal-directed behavior, which is basically identifying I have something that I want to reach towards. I want to be better at math. I want writing to be easier for me. I want science to be a little bit easier for me. And in order to reach that goal, I'm going to need to use some resources. And one of those might be a paper tutoring app in order to reach my goal of getting better in this area. The fourth thing that you would be teaching them using the paper tutoring app is self-management and self-regulation, teaching them to control their feelings of frustration or disappointment or discouraging that this certain subject is hard for them in order to get the task done. So you as the parents or as the guardians would be teaching them these very, very important areas by using this free resource that Riverside Unified District allows us to use. You're teaching them life skills and modeling to them that they can get help. I mean, imagine the feeling of accomplishment they have when they realize like math used to be hard for me and now it's not. And I was able to use a resource in order to get that goal accomplished. And you get to be part of that as their parents and guardians, and you get to help them feel accomplished. So we really hope that this resource is something that you can use to partner along with your student. So now I have a few tips for you to how to set up for success when you're using the paper tutoring app, because this is really important in how we present this opportunity to our students. So the first tip I have for you is to make sure you don't talk about it like it's a punishment. So if you say to your student or your child and you say, your grades in math are really low, you're going to have to go to paper tutoring every day until your grades are up. And if you say it that way, they're like, well, they automatically don't want to do it because you're making them do it. So if you could say something like, and I see this is really hard for you. Like you spend a lot of time struggling with this, or you're frustrated because your grades are low. That's okay that it's hard for you. Why don't we try this free program to see if we can make it easier? Let's give this a shot. Let's do this together. So the way that we talk about it is very, very important. If it's seen as a punishment, you're most likely going to experience resistance and for them to be guarded because they don't want to do it. But if they see and they hear that you just want to help them and you want to use this resource to help them make it easier, the chances of them being a little bit more receptive are a little bit higher. They still may push back a little bit, but it won't be quite as defensive. The next tip I have for you is to do it with them at first. Adults are the same way. If there's something new and we don't know how to use it, then we're less likely to use it because we're a little bit scared or precautious with the unknown. So we want to make sure it feels familiar and easy for them to use. So sit down with them, help them log in, figure out what to do, help them type maybe, or figure out the question that they need to ask the tutor until it becomes more familiar with them. If you're not good with technology and helping them figure that out, then maybe an older sibling or an aunt or uncle or somebody else in the family can do it. But doing it with them at first is important. The third tip I have is just a quiet area for them to use this resource. So I'm not saying your house has to be silent, because I have a family and that's impossible. Noise happens. But just like a classroom, there's some noise in the class, but it's controlled. So there's not, in the classroom, there's not like the teacher's not vacuuming or playing really loud, distracting music or on the phone right next to the student. So any unnecessary noise that we can reduce is very, very helpful. Again, not totally silent, but any extra noise removed as much as possible so that they can focus and not be interrupted as they're working with their tutor. And then the fourth tip is supplies. Make sure that they have everything they need in order to be successful when they sit down with their tutor. So you might ask the question of, do you have everything you need to be successful with the tutor? Do you have all the resources you need? And that helps them to think through, okay, what will I need? Okay, I need my computer, I need a charger, maybe a pencil, paper, my math book. Do I have all those things? If your student isn't good at thinking through those things, you might have to prompt them like, hey, do you have your charger? Okay, go ahead and get that. Or do you have a pencil and paper? And then hopefully the goal is that as you prompt them, they're able to answer the question themselves and realize, I need a charger, I need my computer. We don't want their computer to die halfway through the tutoring session. So just make sure that they have everything they need in order to really utilize that session they have with the tutor. And then the last tip I have for you is just to praise them. Make sure you give that verbal praise of, wow, that was hard for you, and that used to take you an hour, and now because you used the tutor, you were able to get your questions answered and you're done. And now you have free time, and now you can go do what you want because your homework is done. Just really giving that verbal praise, because you may think like, oh, they know they got the help that they needed. But when you say it out loud, it makes that connection of like, yeah, that's right. Like I was having a hard time and now I'm not. And it's because I used this. Even if I maybe didn't want to at first, it ended up being really helpful for me. So those are just some quick tips for success for your students. I hope that some of those are helpful and you're able to really utilize this resource.
Anyone has a question for Ashley, either regarding the SAP program and how to contact a SAP counselor, or a question about how to set up your student for success, please let her know. She will not be able to join us for the duration of the evening, but if you do have a question, drop it into that Q&A button, and she will be happy to answer those for you. All right, families, we're going to go ahead and transition and start talking about Paper, which is RUSD's free online tutoring. So RUSD purchased the Paper Tutoring platform last year. It is free for all of our 7th through 12th grade students. It allows students to receive extensive tutoring, tailored instruction, and personalized solutions to ensure that no student is left behind. Paper is free online tutoring that can be accessed 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. All 7th through 12th grade RUSD students have unlimited access to the platform, so they can log on as many times as they need to and ask as many questions as they need to throughout the day, throughout the month, throughout the week. There's no limit on how many times they can work with the tutor. And they can get academic help in all subject areas. These are just a few of the academic content areas. So we see foreign language, sciences, economics, mathematics, English. And within mathematics and computer science, we have tutors that can help with a variety of subject areas. So from basic arithmetic and algebra to very advanced statistics courses. Paper Tutoring also provides an essay review service. Students can submit their writing, the teacher's directions, and any additional information to the tutors and receive detailed feedback on their writing within 24 hours. The tutors provide feedback on the grammar, content, and structure of the essay. Students can use the essay review services unlimited times as well. Students will be able to chat with live tutors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for unlimited sessions. Paper tutors are highly qualified in the academic areas that they provide support in. Paper tutors go through a rigorous background check. Tutors are then trained in the Socratic method, which means that they lead the students through a process of thinking by asking questions. The live help sessions are monitored by the paper service team for quality assurance and safety purposes. If there are any concerns about a student's questions, paper will alert RUSD and standard safety protocol will take place. Additionally, teachers and school administrators have access to their students' live help transcripts and essay reviews. So you can feel very comfortable sending your student to use the paper tutoring platform because it is monitored and it is safe for them. It's really easy to get started with Paper, the free online tutoring platform. We're going to take a look at the simple steps that your students will follow. Our students will log into the Paper app through their Clever portal. Currently, when students log into their Chrome profile, the Clever portal is the first page that they see. Students already use the Clever portal as a daily landing page to navigate to frequently used sites such as Google Classroom and their digital textbooks. Students will need to select the blue Google login button. If they are on their own device, they can select the Keep Me Logged In option. If students are on a shared device, they will not want to select that option. Next, students will need to choose their Google account. If they do not see their RUSD Google account, they will need to select Use Another Account and add their school account. Please note that this can only be done on a personal device, not an RUSD issued Chromebook. So on their Chromebook, it will automatically default to their Google account. But if they're on a personal device, such as an iPad, a tablet, a home computer, they may need to add another account. This is the student dashboard. From here, there are 3 ways that students can begin working with a live tutor. They can click on the content area that they need help with. They can type in a question that they have, or they can get feedback on an essay by uploading their work. The content areas will be customized for each student based on the classes that they are enrolled in. When students click on a content area, an algorithm will place them with a tutor who is an expert in this subject area. So this only classes that will pop up are those that your student is enrolled in. So if they are not enrolled in a foreign language class, a foreign language will not pop up for them. And then when they click on that subject area, that's how they get connected to a tutor. Students will chat through text with their tutor. There is no video, and transcripts for all chat sessions are documented. Students can attach a file with their work or open a whiteboard. Students, teachers, and administrators will be able to review all session transcripts, which allows for Paper to serve as a great study tool. So if you're looking here at this page, you'll see down at the bottom that they can choose send a file. So they can send the tutor a document or the teacher's instructions so that the tutor has access to those. There is a whiteboard feature, which I will show you in just a moment. And students can always go back and access a transcript of the chat. So that's a nice way for them to go back and study their notes or review what they worked on with the tutor. The first time students log into Paper, they will need to agree to follow all of the guidelines in the Code of Conduct. It's very important that students follow all of the guidelines or they could lose access to the live Paper tutors. Student commitments include maintaining appropriate classroom etiquette. This means being respectful to the live tutors. Tutors will be using the Socratic method, which is questioning that guides students to an answer. Tutors do not give answers, and students need to be respectful when working through the questioning process. Students also need to review the essay guidelines when requesting assistance from a Paper tutor. Students will need to continue to practice internet safety and maintain academic integrity. Here, you can see a chat transcript between a student and a live Paper tutor. Notice that the tutor is driving the conversation by using the questioning method. The Socratic method really does help our students gain a deeper understanding of the content area once they work through the reasoning behind the process. So the tutor's questions and comments are here in white, and the students are on the other side in blue. So you can see it's like a text message or a chat thread between the tutor and the student. There is no video between the two, just a chat. As I mentioned earlier, students and tutors can use a whiteboard to help problem solve and demonstrate concepts. Here we see the student was working through a math problem and drew her area model and sent it to the Paper tutor. So that's a great tool for when students are working in math or science to be able to access that whiteboard. Once the student successfully answers the question, the tutor will offer additional help. Students are able to work with the online Paper tutors via chat for unlimited sessions. The goal of the tutors is to help students have a deeper understanding of the concepts so that the students will be able to achieve academic success. Paper tutors are available in 4 languages: English, Spanish, French, and Mandarin. The default language for tutors is English. To change the language of the tutor, click the arrow down next to the student's name on the far right of the dashboard. A drop-down menu will appear. Select the language you would like to chat with your tutor in. The green arrow indicates the language selected. The Paper dashboard will not translate into the selected language. only the tutor will respond in the selected language. So very important to note, by selecting a different language, it doesn't change everything that the student sees. It only determines the language that the tutor will respond in. All of your students' academic content will be clustered into areas loaded into Paper. They can click on the Ask a Tutor in any subject that they need help with. The green bubbles indicate which language the tutor will respond in. So if your student has changed the language selection, when they go back to their main screen, a green bubble will appear to indicate the language that the tutor is going to respond in. And please note, a tutor might not be available in every subject area in that language. Here you can see a chat between a tutor and a student. They're both chatting in Spanish. Students can take advantage of unlimited essay review sessions with the live paper tutors. The essay review provides detailed feedback within 24 hours. The process of uploading an essay is quite simple as well. Students will upload their writing, the rubric, and any additional information that they believe the tutor can find useful. The teacher can also view all the feedback from the tutor as well. Tutors point out things such as run-on sentences or quotes that are incorrectly cited. Students have unlimited access to the essay review feature. To begin, students will open their paper dashboard and click the Upload Essay button. So this button is available immediately when the student opens their paper tutoring. Students must download their Google Doc as a PDF in order to upload it into Paper. To do this, students will need to open their Google Doc, click File, select Download, and choose PDF document. This file will now be downloaded into the Chromebook and stored in Downloads. Then the student will click Select the file to attach and choose the Google Doc that they just downloaded as a PDF. You can visit our Family Technology Resources site for tutorials in English and Spanish on how to upload your essay to Paper Tutoring. Students are encouraged to add as many details about the assignment as possible so that the tutors can provide the best feedback. Students will also need to select which language the essay is written in. Tutors can review essays written in English, Spanish, and French. After all of the information is added, the students will select the green Review My Essay button. So that's a great feature. If your student is in a foreign language class or in the DLI program, they can have their essay or writing reviewed in Spanish or French. Once the essay is uploaded, the students will need to check back in 24 hours for detailed, individualized feedback. If students want to submit another essay, they can click the blue Submit a New Essay button and repeat the steps. The paper tutor will leave a note with general feedback on the student's writing. This will be an overall comment which addresses trends in the writing process. It will be up to the student to reread their essay and revise based on the feedback. The tutors can also check for plagiarism and correct citations. So when your student first gets their essay back, there will be a general comment and some general feedback here in the notes section. And they're going to click the blue View Comments button to get some more individualized and personalized feedback. Let's take a look at what that looks like. Here's an example of the tutor's feedback on a student essay. The highlighted areas indicate the tutor left feedback specific to that portion of the writing. The student will click on the highlighted area and the tutor's comments will appear. Let's watch a screencast. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. So you see that there are some highlighted portions here. The student will just click on those and a post-it note will pop up. And that post-it note will have specific feedback to the student on that sentence. So each one of these highlighted sentences corresponds to a post-it note that gives detailed feedback. Chromebooks include accessibility right out of the box, unlocking learning experiences for students with diverse needs, abilities, and learning styles. Built-in settings and easy-to-use apps and extensions help customize the learning experience to include and engage every student. Many of these settings work on the Paper website. So I'm going to show you how to turn on some of the accessibility features. Some of the accessibility features on the Chromebook that will help your students better engage with paper tutoring. If they have some specific learning needs or specific challenges with accessing the tools, some of these will help. So to turn on the accessibility features on your student's Chromebook, click on the time on the bottom right of the screen. You can also press Alt plus Shift S. Next, click on the settings cogwheel and it will open up a menu. So after you click on the time down at the bottom, this menu will pop up and you'll click on the cogwheel. On the left side of the screen, click Advanced and Accessibility. Now you're in the accessibility section. So you want to click on Manage Accessibility Features. And here it is. Click on the Manage Accessibility Features. Now you have a list of available accessibility features. Toggle onto the feature you would like to use. So some of the features that the Chromebook has, and this will make a little bit more sense when I explain the features. Chromebook Vox, which is spoken feedback to navigate on the device. So your student can just speak rather than trying to type. It can speak and provide feedback and navigation to the Chromebook. Students can select text and hear it read aloud. There's also a high contrast mode that helps students who are visually impaired. And there are some additional tools such as full screen magnifier. I know for myself, I often have to enlarge and magnify my font and my print on my computer to see it well. And there's also a highlighted mouse cursor so that they can see the mouse more easily. Excuse me. So there are some great tools available to help all of our students access Paper Tutoring, and those are all available right on their Chromebook. You don't have to add anything. They're there built into the Chromebook. And they all work with Paper Tutoring. The last thing I wanted to talk about was the Paper mobile app. So Paper Tutoring offers a mobile app that can be downloaded onto any mobile device, such as a cell phone or a tablet. You will want to go to the App Store and search for Paper Education and select Get. Your student will log in by clicking the Google button. Next, your student will need to select their Google account. Excuse me. If they do not see their account, they will need to click Use Another Account and add their RUSD login information. So similar to how they would log in on their Chromebook or a home computer. This is the mobile device dashboard. Students can select their language. Again, their choices of language for tutors include English, French, Mandarin, and Spanish. Students can start their chat from here, and they can also access previous chats. So that's a very nice feature. We know how much our students love their cell phones, so they can access Paper Tutoring right from their cell phones. So at this time, I'm going to open it up for questions. If you have any questions about Paper Tutoring, we do have a few minutes. So please go ahead and use the Q&A button either at the top or the bottom of your screen to let us know if you have any questions about Paper Tutoring. Thank you. We have a question about how our students access Paper Tutoring. The question says, is Paper Tutoring an app we put on their personal computer or phone? I think I understood it's on their school-issued computer. Yes, Paper is on their Chromebook on the Clever platform. So it's already installed there. They just need to open up the Clever portal and click on it. If you want to have Paper on a mobile device, such as their cell phone or their tablet, you can download the app and have it there as well. But it is already on their school-issued device in the Clever platform. Our next question, what is the grade that a student needs to have in order to use Paper Tutoring? Paper is available for all of our 7th through 12th grade students. And any student in RUSD who is in grades 7 through 12 can access Paper Tutoring. So it doesn't matter what grade the student has in the course. All of our RUSD students, grades 7 through 12, have access to tutors. I did want to make you aware that if you would like any additional resources and tutorials on Paper, the free online tutoring for 7th through 12th grade students, please visit our Family Technology resource site at bit.ly/RUSDFAM21. Resources are available in both Spanish and English. And a recording of tonight's webinar will also be available on the Family Technology site in just a couple of days. I'd also like to remind you that the Family Technology resource site has many other student and parent resources, such as information about other tutoring opportunities, Clever, Google Classroom, and technology quick tips. Our family technology webinar recordings are also posted on this site. So if you missed the one that we had last month on ARIES and data confirmation, that's available there. You can find information on the Hearts and Primetime programs to learn more about expanded learning opportunities for primary students. So if you have some elementary students that are not able to access paper, you can find information on the website about how to best support them. And again, that's available at bit.ly/RUSD-FAM21. We do have some upcoming webinars. Our next one will be October 26th at 5:30 p.m. And that is on digital citizenship. And you'll be able to register by going to bit.ly/FamilyTech1026. So some good information on keeping our students safe online and helping them to make good choices when they are online.